back up again. Hopefully don't mess up, but yeah, go ahead.
Yo, welcome to our first episode of My Ninja Gaming. This is your boy Trevor.
Curtis Russell.
And this is your boy.
Say it.
Sir Mackleton.
Do it.
Fauntleroy.
What?
The third. Esquire.
Say it.
I'm not gonna get tired of that. This dude already got a personnel. Like, oh my God. So Trevor, what we talking about?
First step today, what we're going to talk about today is what video game made us fall in love with video gaming. For me, my first video game experience was, for myself at least, was when my parents came home with a PlayStation. And they brought me a copy of Spyro and A Bug's Life. And I played the pants off of both games.
Oh my God.
I didn't even go outside that day. Neighbors knocking on my door. Where's Trevor at? I ain't playing with y'all today. There's A Bug's Life, and this game Spyro has taken over my life.
Yeah.
What about you, Curtis?
So it was same thing. It was the first PlayStation, and it was the Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back.
Oh yeah.
That was my game. After that, it was CTR Crash Team Racing.
Oh man, that's my game.
When I finally got a hold of a Nintendo 64, it was Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Now that right there was probably the reason why I fell in love with gaming.
Dang.
Yeah, because I feel like that game hits on every element of gaming, so it was perfect.
Perfect.
It was perfect.
Man, in my case, so for most people that don't know, I'm a little bit older than the other two, just a little bit. So
Little bit.
All right, so for me, I'm going as far back as Nintendo.
Okay.
And my very first game, one that I have to say I fell in love with, was this game on Nintendo called Roller Games. I showed y'all on YouTube.
Yeah.
Back then, when it had came out, it was one of the few games where you had a decent selection of people to pick, and certain like the three characters that you picked were better suited for certain stages. So it kind of had an RPG aspect in a sense,
right?
Almost, not quite. But that kind of made me realize that was the kind of game I liked, and from there I kind of started looking for certain games, and I took an interest in it. But that was the first game that I was like, man, I like this a lot, and I had a lot of games.
That's pretty fire.
So
what was that for again? What's this?
It was just regular Nintendo. Just the one that came out before Super Nintendo.
That's right.
And for people who aren't privy to that type of game, what game would be the best thing close to it that people might have played?
Like as far as today,
or style wise, not just today, like people, something that somebody might come in contact with.
Let me see, man.
Because whenever you show me gameplay of it, it reminded me somewhat of the Simpsons games, how they had their layout. It was a little bit more complex than the Simpsons game, just for the detail in which it went through. Yeah. But the game, still the style of gaming reminded me kind of like that.
Let me see. It's so many games that are so similar to it, man. Let me think. I guess you could start with Streets of Rage. It was sort of similar to it. Anything that was basically kind of a beat 'em up, just type of game like that. It's kind of what started that for me.
Right.
Because I went from roller games, and then you fast forward a little bit, and then I had a Sega, and then I had Sonic, and then I had Streets of Rage,
right.
and I had. And then I like so many games. Then I fast forward, and all of a sudden I just went from Nintendo, then I jumped to Sega, and then I automatically went right to PlayStation. And it was that quick. And then for me on PlayStation, Tekken.
Oh yeah.
Tekken was it. Like once I played Tekken, that was it for me. Tekken still to this day is it's probably my favorite game. I wouldn't say it's my favorite game as far as like gaming series, but like fighting game wise, what it is, I would just play on default. Tekken,
right.
Because when Tekken 6 came out, I spent like $100 buying 5 different copies because I kept trading it in and bringing it back. So yeah, that was it for me, man.
Dang. So I guess that's a good segue to best gaming series.
Best game series, man. I'm gonna start with the one that's a little more nostalgic to me. That would be the Final Fantasy series, just because. Yo, I'm not even gonna front, but a lot of people get mad at me for this, but Final Fantasy 9 was my favorite Final Fantasy in every aspect. 7 is usually everybody's go-to.
Yeah.
Everybody loves 7, and then you get mixed reviews about 8. Because I hated 8, because Qual was just a whiny. Oh God, it was worse than Titus in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it would be Final Fantasy. But if we're talking about as I grew older and I actually started playing other games, Mass Effect. Mass Effect stole my heart for gaming. I probably clocked in a total of 100 plus hours on the first original Mass Effect. That's how much I played that game. And those are the 2 main game series that I will always go back and revisit. And if anybody messed up those series, I would be fairly mad, especially with this past Andromeda that came out. Oh God, it messed up the series for me. But yo, that's my favorite. How about you, Curtis?
I'm gonna go with the Elder Scrolls.
The
RPG style. I mean, it's amazing. Bethesda are just an amazing group of people. They're so talented in what they do. Not just with Elder Scrolls, but since we're talking about the Elder Scrolls, I mean, they have unlimited stuff you can do in the game. And with Final Fantasy, I would have said that. I probably would say Dead Space, but I'm gonna go with the Elder Scrolls.
And which one was your first introduction to Elder Scrolls?
It was Morrowind.
Yeah.
But I really got into Oblivion, and then Skyrim is like my favorite game ever. Like for the past 10 years, it's been phenomenal.
I still play Skyrim.
I played it yesterday.
I still play it. My favorite, I'm gonna have to agree with Trevor, is Final Fantasy.
Right.
I've played them all. I mean, from start, like not when they all came out or anything like that, but as I got older and I realized there were more, I went back and I played them. Man, I'm talking about it's so many of them. 7 was the one where I finally became aware of how Final Fantasy was. And of course I played 8, and then I played 9. I didn't play much of 9, but I played 9. 10 is probably my favorite one.
Oh, okay.
10 is my favorite just because, like, you know how y'all put so many hours. That was a grind. I put so much time into 10. I didn't know about, and the funny thing is when I got to like 80, 90, 100 hours, I didn't even know about the Dark Aeons.
Yeah.
So when the Dark Aeons came out, I was like, oh, y'all gave me another reason to cut it back on and get back into it. So I could never pass the Chocobo race though to get the Calabar. That was the part I couldn't do that until my later years. But yeah, man. Then what got me with them is Final Fantasy 14, the MMO.
Yeah.
That's something I've always wanted. Like, because you see all the Final Fantasy characters, you see how cool they are, you see the weapons they use, the moves they do, and you see all these classes on 14, and you can't help but be hyped. But behind that, I'm gonna go with one that's probably not picked often, Assassin's Creed.
Oh wow.
Because I've always wanted something like that, to be this really cool assassin character, going through just any time zone, any time frame. You know, this man got a knife that come out his hand. In Assassin's Creed 2, you give me 2 of them.
Yeah.
You give me smoke bombs and you give me a gun, and you think I'm not finna geek out about this?
Right.
So come on, man. Like, so that was mine, man. As far as like even today, still my favorite.
Yeah, Final Fantasy X is probably my favorite one too. When I brought it up to Trevor, he was like, "Nah, that ain't mine."
You know me.
Like,
I'm not fond of the
main
whiny
character.
main characters.
I didn't care about him. He could have walked off a cliff.
Yo, that's the thing about people like Zidane though. Zidane had like that confidence, but it was, at the same time it was like that teenage confidence. It was like that false confidence. He was very prideful, but at the same time he was like, oh, I don't really feel that way, but I do.
Yeah.
But Titus, Squall, and even Cloud were the most whiniest main character. Okay.
He wasn't whiny though.
No, but he was. He was very depressed.
He was
But now, when I go back and play games, which is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, Crisis Core. Oh God! Now you understand why Cloud was the way he was. You're just like, oh.
So what you're telling me is I'm not even. No, I'm somebody else.
Right.
What I remember is somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? I'm going in this corner.
Yep. And I'm gonna cry.
That's how Final Fantasy is with all that weird stuff, man. So, favorite system?
Whew.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a very hard one. But I'm gonna go with one that has probably not a lot of people are gonna agree with, but Dreamcast. I say Dreamcast because Dreamcast was the first system to really integrate online aspect of gaming, and I say that because I remember my parents bought us a Dreamcast for Christmas one year, and we actually hooked it up to the internet. We got the chance to experience things that I know a lot of kids probably didn't get a chance to experience at that time. And we fell in love with online gaming because you got things like, I believe Resident Evil 3 came out on Dreamcast as well.
I was about to say, what games were you playing online?
Oh, man, so with Resident Evil 3, the cool thing is that's mods before mods were a thing. So when you hooked up your Dreamcast, you can actually get mods for Resident Evil. So we get unlimited ammo, health packs. It was like so many things that you can get that you wouldn't get with just playing throughout the game. This is DLC before DLC.
Wow.
So Dreamcast was like my introduction into like online gaming and my love for gaming. That's what makes Dreamcast my favorite. What about you, Kurt?
I've never even thought about this. I'm not.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna have to think for a
Me
second.
either, so I'm kind of like, I mean, I guess while you think about it, I could kind of throw out, like I said, I got some ties.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, it was a tie between the Sega and would PS3 be considered
Yeah.
favorite? Okay, could you say that? Okay, so it would be a tie between Sega and PS3 simply because Sega had this deal. I'm pretty sure most people remember it if you played Sonic. If you had Sonic 2, and then you had Sonic and Knuckles, you could put Sonic and Knuckles in first, and Sonic and Knuckles had a cartridge deal on top.
Yeah.
Sonic 2
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah, I
And
remember
you could
that.
play as Knuckles and Sonic 2.
I remember
and
that.
that blew my mind.
Innovation.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then so I always remember that to this day that was the first game that could do that. And then PS3, because PS3, man, back then you could play PS1 games, but if you had a backwards compatible one, you pretty much had a PS1, 2, or pretty much a 1 and a 2 on top of a 3.
Right.
So like if you had that particular PS3, you wasn't hurting for nothing. Oh man, I missed this game. You just had to go find it. And so for me, that was so much utility in one game.
Yeah.
Less money to spend because you didn't have to buy a console, and like they hit a lot of points for me at that point in time. So yeah, I have to go with Sega and PS3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with PlayStation 2 for the simple fact of the games that came out during the PlayStation 2 era. You had your Kingdom Hearts, you had all those Final Fantasy games that were on the PlayStation 2, and I think at that time it was, of course, ahead of the Xbox, which was its counterpart. And even though the first Xbox was good because you got Halo, you got the first Halo, you got the second Halo, which is probably regarded as the best Halo, but you had your Final Fantasy 10, 7, 8, 9, all that on PlayStation 2, and Kingdom Hearts. You had, the library of PlayStation 2 games.
Jade Empire.
Yes, it's huge. You got Prince of Persia. A whole bunch of games.
Man, I forgot about Prince of Persia.
Yeah, there's so many games that were great on PlayStation 2. So I'll go with that one. I'll go with that one.
If you're talking game lineups, PS2 is king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. It's hard to debate. PS2 had a lot of fresh starts with a lot of games.
But you also gotta respect Xbox for trying, because if you think about Xbox's games, think about the first game that came out for Xbox around that time. A game used to come with the system. Y'all remember this?
Yeah.
Those are the days, right? Without the extra bonuses and costs. But you would get things like Fusion Frenzy.
Yeah.
You would get things like
right.
Set Radio.
Yeah.
Jet Set Radio made me fall in love with games too. Oh man, Jet Set had the same aspect of culture in the sense of rap music inside the game.
That's right.
It had graffiti, so it had like black culture plus black rap culture.
Xbox is also the one console back then where you could play music while you're playing the game.
Word, I forgot about that.
I think another thing that they hurt PS2 with at the time, everybody knows about GTA San Andreas.
Right.
Well, when it came out on both consoles, Xbox was like, oh, they got it? Well, here, take this one where you can play your own music and it looks better.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
And
true.
at that time, graphics meant everything.
Yeah.
So it hurt them so bad, and I was mad.
Microsoft came up with them haymakers,
They
man.
was just giving it to them.
They also started Xbox Live.
Yeah.
And I think that set them up for the 360 versus PS3 era.
Yeah.
And I think,
Oh, man.
to me personally, 360
Won that era.
Was one because we were going into the online thing.
Yeah.
And you had Halo 3, Halo Reach online, and then you had Call of Duties that were coming out like
Most
crazy.
definitely.
And you had, because I didn't even know. I know the only game I literally played on PlayStation 3 online was that damn racing game. What is it called? I forgot it. Not Midnight Club. There was another racing
Ride?
game. Huh?
Oh, there's Ride Crew.
I don't know, but it came out first for PlayStation 3. It was like one of the first games out, and that was literally the only game.
Not Burnout.
No, it wasn't Burnout.
It was a lot of card games that came out at that time. I remember that.
I completely forgot about it.
I know what game you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's gonna bother me.
All right, I'm checking it out now. Let me see if I can find out what we're talking about here. Let's see.
All right, and while he's going into that, guys, let's talk about gaming series that aren't mentioned, like those non-big name gaming series. Like a lot of people don't know about the Legends of Dragoons or those games that are supposed to be in your cupboard, but they probably aren't.
Yeah.
But most people need to experience them for the sake of gaming.
Okay.
Most definitely.
We'll start with. It's not a gaming series, but the developers have been making good games. And,
Okay.
we'll talk about Bravely Default, which is Square is backing up that development team with money, of course. And Bravely Default was on 3DS, I think, and it came out. And where I live, it's like probably the blackest suburb. And the fact I went to GameStop and it was gone, I was like, how? Because, it's not like, we're too busy playing Madden and 2K. I'm like, oh, this is an RPG for the 3DS. How is it gone? And it sold a lot, and it was critically acclaimed. Now they have the new Octopath Traveler, which I've been playing. And it talks a lot. There's a lot of dialogue.
Right.
But the aspect of the fighting, the combat, the what is it called? Like Pokemon style, the turn-based. There we go. Turn-based fighting style is perfect with the vulnerability of certain enemies.
Right.
It's really good, and I really love it. So I'll say that should always be on your shelf, especially if you have a Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo Switch is clawing for great titles. You should always get it.
All right, what you think, Mac?
As far as, let me see, this is a hard one too, because I've played so many games, like, as far as one that people sleep on.
Yeah. Because people sleep on some of these games.
They sleep on a lot, and there's so many good ones, man. There was one, like, we just talking about one particular game?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, so one particular game that a lot of folks slept on, it came out right when Skyrim came out. It was called Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning.
Yeah.
And that was the heaviest
Wow.
because it was completely, if you didn't like Scrim, you had to like that one. Like, Skyrim had, it was more realistic. It was more, it was a lot less cartoony.
Right.
Kingdoms of Amalur, where it beat Skyrim, it had a better combat system.
That's true.
It had, it was more true to your way type of, if you are a thief, then that's what you are. That might have been also what hurt it, because Skyrim gave you more freedom as a thief to kind of make it your own
And
thing.
Versatility, right?
Whereas if you're a thief, you're stuck with so many different ways. Either you had the daggers, or you had, they also had chakrams. Chakrams back then. It was a heard of thing, but back then you could fling them. On there you could fling them, and you could just be real stylish with them, man. And that was so dope. The outfits were dope. The game could be hard if you weren't careful enough, if you were in the wrong area at the wrong time. So that was a game, like, I didn't play Skyrim until maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when it actually came out on
for everything.
Yeah, when it finally came out, that's when I actually got into it. But back when it came out, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, man, I had 200 hours.
Well, it's the combat, like you said, that's amazing about that game. Yeah. My friend, he wasn't into Skyrim, so he got into that instead. And I remember I was just blown away. In Skyrim, it's a grind fest. Yeah. When you played a mage on that one, you started off with all these abilities. You can throw the staff up in there, slam it down, all this fire everywhere. Cool. In Skyrim, you got to find scrolls and read and this and that. And I'm like, damn, but
charge a weapon.
Yeah, too much stuff with that game. But that game is awesome. But what killed that game was who backed it, which was EA.
And EA runs a lot of these games, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of shed the tears when they shut the studio down. I was like,
it was ridiculous.
Can somebody just buy it or something?
Please.
If I ever get rich, I'm going to go find that studio, reopen it, and I'm going to remake Kingdoms of Amalur. If not for just me, for whoever else felt the same way I felt about that game.
But the reason it was a lawsuit that got it caught up. I think they took the same formula. Which the weird thing about gaming is people copyright formulas to make a game.
Yep.
So I don't know if it came from World of Warcraft, because I remember watching. I was like, this game looks familiar too.
Got a lot of familiar things.
So I don't know if it was they took a certain kind of formula to make a house or something, and they were like, yeah, you got to get caught. And EA wasn't willing to fight that and lose that money. So
Heck no.
They weren't willing to.
Not worth it at all.
Yeah. I mean, that might be wrong. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that EA didn't want to fight that, and they just got rid of the game. So I know that's ridiculous.
I'm hoping that one day they'll remake some or do something close to it. Because, man, it was good. It was so good.
What about Fable? Fable's a little bit like that.
I didn't get into Fable.
You didn't get into Fable?
Mainly because it was on Xbox. And, then nobody could have just forwarded both consoles.
Yeah.
I had one console and it was PlayStation, and that was what I was. I was Team Blue.
Right.
So when Fable came out, though, my cousin had an Xbox. And I looked at it, I was like, yo, this is kind of tight. What is this? He was like, this is Fable. So, I went to looking on my phone and no Fable for PlayStation.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
Yeah, that was when I just kind of had to let fall by the wayside.
So who won E3, y'all?
Who you got, Mac?
Who won E3? For me, Bethesda won E3 because I seen Elder Scrolls 6 and that was it.
Oh, you got. Is that what you're doing?
That was it. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
What you got on us?
I wanna ride off what he's saying. I see why he says it because Todd Howard came out looking fly as it can be in that brown jacket, and he was like, "I got something for y'all." He showed Fallout 76. Then he went in about Starfield, which is the brand new IP that's coming for the next generation. But then, bam, Elder Scrolls 6 came out.
Elder Scrolls 6 happened.
It was freaking fire, but it was like before that, it was like, But I see why you say that because he came out knowing he was about to ball.
Yeah, he already knew.
He came out.
He knew it.
And I will say this, guys. I don't think they won because if you guys are gonna write off because of Elder Scrolls, he only showed us not even an intro. Yeah. It was just the name and a background.
That was enough.
No, come on. We gonna talk about who really won. We gonna talk about some good old Nintendo. Okay, they came in with the haymakers. So what they gave us was one of the best things that they could have gave us, which is another Smash. We knew it was coming, but when you see exactly what they're giving us, everybody from Pac-Man to Wolf. Come on, then Nintendo's gonna throw out a new Star Fox game.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Did we hear about that at E3?
But we know it's coming. Come on, we know some things are coming.
I think, man, look, I think they went a little light though because they always have a whole bunch of directs. So I wasn't mad at Nintendo. Me personally, I mean, I'm gonna let you finish whatever you got to say about before I go in. Okay. I wanted to make sure you got done, but yeah, Nintendo has a whole bunch of directs, so I think we're gonna see more. But the fact they showed Smash is awesome. And people kind of sleep that the fact they showed a lot of RPGs for the Switch.
Switch.
People asleep on that. Like, what was it? What's that Blue Dragon game? What was that Dragon Quest?
Yeah,
they showed that. I think they showed like 2 or 3 other ones, which is awesome, of course. I personally think that, and I give them crap all the time, I think Microsoft won it. For the fact that, yeah, if you look at you're acting like it was too far-fetched. Like,
I mean, PlayStation was,
Okay, here's my problem with PlayStation. I feel like as a press conference, they had to stop. I feel like if it was there, it would be better. Because, like, they had people's intents, right? They had them, like, in tents at the press conference.
Yep.
And then they let people move to the next tent, but in between that, they had, like, scenery for the next game. So, I feel like if he was there, it was better. But when I was watching it at home, we had to go to, like, a desk, and all these other people were talking. But the reason why I feel like Microsoft did it was, as a press conference, they came out Halo Infinite. And then it was game. They showed off their heavy hitters. Forza, Crackdown, and Gears of War. And they showed all those games, all those exclusives that we wanted to see. On top of that, they showed off Fallout. They were the first, press conference to show out Fallout 76.
Right.
And then they showed out freaking Devil May Cry 5. They got to show that out. And it was like game. It wasn't their exclusive stuff, but it was like game. And then Forza looked great. And they weren't up there talking a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Which I loved.
Yeah, I love that. And they just came out. They came out just fighting with all the games that they showed. And I feel like that's what they had to do.
So Mac has Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Curtis, you have
Microsoft.
And I have Nintendo.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, man, It really wasn't a bad one with the exception of EA.
This was the biggest surprise. I don't know. You guys can't see it, but this was crazy. Ellie is a lesbian.
Really?
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Y'all can't see it. I'll put it up on the YouTube for you guys to see it. But this is crazy. Look at that.
What was this?
This is The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Truly is The Last of Us.
Yeah. You didn't know about the lesbian scene?
I missed all that.
Hey, man. Oh, and we're going to go from a lesbian scene to a knife in the neck.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god.
That shows you where gaming's going in the sense of them integrating so many things that are happening in today's culture, which I actually accept because I believe we have to start addressing certain things inside of our gaming culture.
NHL just got their first black cover.
Yeah, see, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I love it because it shows diversity in gaming. I believe that wasn't really portrayed in our day because think about it. Our first experience to a black character in gaming was really what people like. I say this all the time as a joke, but Knuckles was my first black character in the game.
God.
And then you got Baird from Final Fantasy VII.
If Knuckles said the N-word, I wouldn't be mad.
Right? Mainly because he could throw hands.
Yeah,
but
that is true.
Dojo was my first black character.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, not even DJ from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Even though he was like Jamaican or whatever, he was.
He's full.
Yeah,
He's still a black person.
He was black as
Yep.
the night sky. So. Yeah.
But it's certain things like that in gaming which I love because that shows you the broad range of gaming, which I believe is never touched on. We don't touch on things like race and gaming because it's kind of far removed, and people already expect black culture not to go towards gaming. That's just how it usually is as far as gaming goes. Because I know in high school you would talk to people who look like you about gaming, but it was always about sports games.
Yeah.
It was never anything like I think people are afraid to be like, yeah, man, I play Final Fantasy for 18 hours today. For people to actually judge them for that.
Yeah, that's true.
But I love the fact of games like The Last of Us and certain games touching on aspects of real life and reality.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be spoken about.
Yeah, I think Dragon Age had like the very first gay male. He was like I think I talked about this on my own podcast. It was a gay mage, and he wasn't like he was like, "Hey, fire!" Like, like he wasn't doing that.
Pew, pew.
It's like Dorian.
Dorian.
Yeah, Dorian.
Yeah.
He was like the necromancer guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
And he was real, but then it's like he's coming at you on like a romance level, and you like, oh, like EA trying to do all this.
You mention that because Mortal Kombat actually also had their first gay character in Kung Jin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was Kung Lao's cousin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. And he was actually a really good character. So I mean, he could pretty much, hit you in the head with everything.
I mean, this could completely be a whole nother podcast because we were talking about E3.
we dive into another topic. But that's what I love about our podcast. I think other people are going to love about our podcast is it's sporadic and it's going to allow people to actually think opposed to just, oh, here's this game. Let's talk about this one game. Let's talk about things about this game that don't get talked about, like hair grading and color grading and things like that.
I think that was a good segue going into that when you was talking about like black culture and it's always sports games, and I think that's something we need to hit up on a little bit harder because I talked about it a little bit with Bravely Default,
right?
When I was like, so you telling me all these black people came in here and bought a RPG for 3DS? Like, there's no way, no. But that's about the 30-minute mark, man. That's basically all we got, right?
That's all we got.
So
today.
you say Nintendo,
yeah,
you
Nintendo.
saying Bethesda, and I'm saying Microsoft. So let us know in the comments exactly who you think won E3. Now, we didn't go on Sony, Ubisoft, Square, so just let us know in the comments. All right, peace.
Peace.
Later.